let's take a look at how we can configure actions in Security Center. These are also commonly referred to as event-to-actions, since the system is looking for one event and executing one action. Our actions used to be configured in the System task, but these have been moved over to the Automations task, so let's open that up in our Config tool. For now, the Actions section is still in the System task with a link to bring you to the right place, but eventually this will be removed. From our Automation task, click on the tab for Actions. We don't have very much in here right now, but it can get busy in here once we start creating a lot of actions, so we have some helpful tools above the list. The Domain drop-down will allow us to filter the list based on the type of event we're looking for, such as the ones related to access control, license plate recognition, or video. If we have a ton of access control actions in here, but we're trying to find the action we created for a motion on event from the side door camera, we can use the Domain to limit this to video events. Below that is a basic search to find the action we're looking for based on the entity used. Clicking on the plus icon next to it opens up the advanced search fields, where we can look for any actions based on a specific type of entity, a particular event, or the action that is being performed. For example, if we want to see any event-to-actions that are triggering alarms, we would select Trigger Alarm as the action. There's no search button to hit or anything like that. As soon as we pick the action, the list updates to show us the new information. Let's clear the filters and hide the advanced fields and create a new action ourselves. The buttons below the list can be used to add a new action, remove one or more actions, or edit the currently selected action. You can highlight multiple actions by holding the Control or Shift keys, but you can only use the Edit button for a single selected action. An easier way to edit an action is simply to double-click on it from the list. Clicking on the Add button, we get our pop-up window to help us create the action. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hold on a second, what's all this? Where are my blank fields to fill in? Since I've already created a few actions on this system, by default it keeps the fields set to the previous values that were used. This is in case we have to create many actions based on similar events, or use the same action response. For example, let's say we want to create an action for a door held open too long event, but need to have this response happen for both the front entrance and the side entrance. We could set this up for the front entrance door, save it, and then when we create a new action, the only thing we'd have to do is change the door. Everything else would be the same, so we wouldn't have to go through the process of filling in those fields again. When setting up an action, the first thing we need to do is specify the type of action, or the when field, and which entity the event is coming from. For example, when motion on occurs, from the reception camera. If we clear the from field, we can look for the event from any entity, but we cannot select a list of entities for this field. If only there was some advanced way of doing this. Automations. Sorry about that. Next, we need to define the action the Security Center will take when it sees this event. Depending on the type of action we pick, we'll see different fields below. If we choose to trigger an alarm, we just need to pick the alarm that will be triggered, but if we choose to add a bookmark, we'll need to pick a camera and enter the bookmark message. Below that are some additional options we can set for this action. The effective field is the schedule to let Security Center know when to look for this event. In our example, we only want to note if someone enters the reception area when the office is closed, so we can change the schedule to the nightly hours one. If the event source may be in a different time zone, and we want that to be used when looking at this schedule, we can activate that option below the schedule. Finally, we want to make sure the action is enabled if we want Security Center to start looking for this event. If the reception area is going to have contractors working there overnight, we may want to go in and turn off this event to action during that time so we don't have a bunch of useless bookmarks. Once we're finished here, we can click on the Save button and we're good to go. If we want to convert an event to action to an automation entity, we have a convenient button on the bottom for this. We need to have an action selected to see the button, and once we click on it, it will ask us to confirm that we want to make the conversion. Once it has been converted, we'll see the new entity in the automation section, which we'll just need to activate. Going back to the Actions section, we can see the action is still there, but it has been deactivated. The first column in our list is the Enabled field, so we can easily tell if an action is active or inactive currently.